Welcome back to Under Oath.
All right, guys, welcome back to Under Oath. I've taken over the intro section because Jeff was late in getting to work today, so they couldn't brief him on what the topics were. So, like the shiny knight in shining armor that I am, I volunteered to do that, and here we are.
You are a slanderous SOB. But go ahead.
The officer, Andrew Colburn, he was one of the officers involved in the Netflix hit Making a Murderer. And they made this guy, the documentary, made him look like a clown, made him look like he was a bumbling fool, and that he may be a huge reason why there was conviction in this case in the first place. Interestingly enough, though, Candace Owens has done a counter documentary called Convicting a Murderer, where she does a format similar to what Netflix did, but they include all of the evidence that was left out of the Netflix series, which is very eye-opening. So in context of Netflix creating a false impression of somebody, Colburn, I believe, is suing or is considering suing because Netflix made him look terrible in their documentary, appropriating his likeness, misrepresenting his character, and generally assassinating his good name. Should he be allowed? Can he sue?
Anybody can sue. Will he be successful? No.
Why not?
They've already had these all the time. Anytime they do these documentaries based on a real story, loosely based on this, they find out that that's not really you. It's this ideal version of you, and they can use whatever artistic license they want. I think the sad thing is it all started with Falwell.
All started with who?
Falwell, Jerry Falwell and Hustler. When Hustler did the cartoons and they made Jerry Falwell screw his mother in a cartoon.
Oh.
And they took it all the way to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court ruled with against Jerry Falwell, and ruled in the favor of Hustler. Because they said, you can do a parody. It's entertainment. We're doing this stuff. A documentary is not a documentary anymore. They're not going to say this is 100% true. That's why they go based on true story.
I feel like if you're going to call your product a documentary, you should have some obligation to try and stick to the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, don't you?
No. You're making it to entertain people. It's eyeballs. Netflix does not do that. You know what? We feel, even though only one person's going to watch this, that we need to get the truth out. They're going to go, no, we want eyeballs.
So you're saying entertainment is far more valuable. Entertainment value is far more valuable than the value of the actual truth.
Yes. You know why? Because it's on the TV. Now, news, for example. Is the news absolutely true? No, and they get a huge leeway. For example, if you're a celebrity, you have to show they blatantly disregarded in a news story. And if you protect the news the way they do, why can't you protect some nonsense like a documentary created by some dude filming it on his iPhone?
So you don't think he has a case?
I think the argument's going to be made that he does. But, I mean, look at all this. I mean, you want to talk really bad?
I mean, they vilified the guy. They made him look like
Tiger King. Tiger King.
I remember Tiger King.
Okay. Remember what they did to that woman?
You mean Carol?
Yeah, Carol. What did she do? Nothing. They said she grinded her up with the meat grinder. The meat grinder is really this small. They show this meat grinder like she's
of killing her husband.
And he's alive.
I know now. When we were watching it, we were all sure that she killed her husband.
You know why? Because they took liberties.
And she should be able to sue for that.
She couldn't.
Well, he's in jail, so it'll be hard to collect.
Not the guy who did it.
The Tiger King,
the documentary guy. I'm talking the guy who made the documentary.
Well, he was just reporting on what the people said.
Really?
Right?
Really? He's just reporting on what people said?
He didn't say that Carol killed her husband. He was filming the Tiger King say that Carol killed her husband.
And remember,
the Netflix Making a Murderer, that is not what they did.
Remember my closing?
Which closing?
There has to be a hero, and there's got to be a villain. Every story requires it.
Yep.
And it's important I said the word story. It's their story. When I see anything, whether it be a movie or something else like that, anytime there's an entertainment value in it, there's a chance it's going to go off the rails. Going off the rails means that the truth is going to be squirted around. Skirted, not squirted. Going to skirt around the truth. So my feelings on this stuff is anytime you turn on your TV, expect that you're being lied to. I mean, come on.
So Netflix, they did this sort of as an entertainment value.
Of course it is.
Component.
Every piece of product you see on Netflix is for entertainment.
But here's so let's make a contrast. All right. Because Netflix is in trouble again for something very similar, except for this time, they didn't involve somebody who was actually really involved in the situation. They did a documentary, The Hatchet Wielding Hitchhiker. Okay.
Yeah, sounds like news to me.
In the promo material, in the actual documentary, they have a picture of a guy holding a hatchet. Well, the guy holding the hatchet is just some random guy.
Some random.
From the internet. He has nothing to do with the story that they were putting forward.
Come on, that's money.
Nothing to do whatsoever
Could you
with the
imagine
story.
the dude going,
this guy finds out. He finds out because his friends are like, hey, man.
You a murderer.
You're on the Netflix thing. You
a murderer.
As the hatchet murderer. He's like, no, stop it. And he goes and look. Sure enough, there's a picture of him. He's in a car. He's looking in his friend's car. Yeah, that's him holding the hatchet. But he had nothing to do with any hatchet murder. He wasn't involved at all. He wasn't law enforcement. He wasn't accused. They just randomly threw this guy's face in there. So surely he can sue for that, right? I get the officer who was actually involved.
Actually, for him being a citizen, and you tell me how he's going to use it.
They appropriated his likeness.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He has nothing to do with it. They just chose his likeness. He's not part of the story. He's not anything else like that. It's not loosely based on him. So that's misappropriation of likeness. So yes, he should absolutely be able to sue them because he has nothing to do with it.
Would you represent him?
Of course I would.
How much in damages would you seek?
Oh my God! For the rest of existence, you can't wipe
the
internet.
Walking around, hey, you're the axe murderer. You're the axe murderer.
Google hatchet guy and see how many sites have his face on it.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy.
Of course.
And he's just some non-assuming, like nothing. He didn't do anything wrong.
Is he married?
I don't know.
Could you imagine this guy on, like going to one of these dating sites?
Well, that
and the
might
first
be
thing
part
that
of his
pops up
damages.
is a picture of him with the hatchet.
Yeah, that might be.
You're not getting
right. So if he's on a dating site, and then they're like, okay, let me Google this guy because I
screwing
can't
up your
trust the
sex
dating
life?
site, and Google comes up with all this hatchet murder stuff. It's going to chase away any potential prospect.
The only place he could go are those like serial killer websites where all the girls are into.
No,
that.
but he has to be convicted. I mean, they're into the convicted murderers.
They're not into
they'll
sleep with somebody who got away with it.
I accidentally got caught up because I just happened to be holding an axe.
Really, you think the conviction matters with these young ladies?
Well, yeah, they got to be safe. They don't want to actually go to sleep.
I want a real murderer. I don't want this.
No, they
pretend murderer.
They want the fame of being married to the murderer.
Oh, there you go.
With the safety of not having to sleep under the same roof.
His picture is all over the world with this hatchet.
Yeah, actually.
I married the hatchet guy.
That's the point.
Yeah. You know what it is? You get the fame without having to worry about getting killed.
Well, if they take long enough to look. See, and that's not what the Netflix producers did. They just probably Googled it. That picture came up. They didn't take time. They just used it.
Here's the problem.
And the guy who's the actual hatchet murderer, hold on. The guy who's the actual hatchet murderer.
He's upset.
I saw his picture.
He lost his credit.
I saw his picture and I saw this guy's picture. They look nothing alike. It's not like, oh, I thought that was him. There's no way you could think that was him.
Okay, watch it. Play this out. You're putting this thing together. You're going, hey, does any have a picture of our boy with the hatchet? No. Well, Google somebody.
Google somebody.
Google somebody. Because somebody had to make that decision. We don't have forget getting done by AI, which is easy as hell. You can probably have this great AI poster created in AI. You don't even have to pay anybody. But imagine you're going, okay, we don't have the hatchet guy. Which guy didn't get the hatchet picture? He's looking over at the PA, looking over the assistant, going, hey,
how do we not have a picture? Hold on. How do we not have a picture?
Got one. Done. This guy looks like a killer. Put him up. Some guy had to make the decision going, okay, we don't have the hatchet guy, but, the this is this random picture that we can use. And here's the problem with this one. Hollywood knows you can't just use random pictures. They don't know if it's a professional picture. They don't know who has rights to that picture.
You would think. Yeah, you would think that they know
I got
that,
called
but apparently they don't.
I got called by guys from Universal to get permission because they did this comic book pan of this comic book store, and my comic books were in the background. And they actually said, hey, we need you to sign a release.
Really?
So just to have my comic books in the background required a release.
Really?
Rando with the hatchet, no, we're
no
good.
release. Yeah. Certainly entitled to millions and millions of dollars. And you think, obviously, that's an easy case because he wasn't actually involved. And you wouldn't, you don't apply that same that same logic to the officer.
You're talking because the difference is this: they're telling a story. There's artistic license. You can't just randomly use somebody's likeness without their permission.
Here's what the axe murderer might have looked like.
This is my boy at Halloween. He's the killer.
Probably looks something like this.
I wonder if he uses it as his profile picture now. He puts that up in the corner.
Oh, can you imagine?
Oh, come on. I'd use
imagine?
It. If it was me, I'd use it.
We should interview this guy.
He might not be able to talk if it's an ongoing lawsuit.
The accidental hatchet guy.
He might not be able to talk if it's an ongoing suit. We wouldn't have our clients do press. He probably can't do it because they're suing and it's an ongoing suit. But that guy got screwed.
Yeah, I think so.
I'd hate that. I mean, they have these things. When they do these reenactments for the crime shows on TV, the problem is these actors who actually get paid to do the reenactments, people sometimes think they're the guy who did it. And some of these guys have had problems.
I do that. If I watch a show and the same guy's playing the same character for a long time, it's not the guy. It's the character. I know the character. And when I see him, I'm calling him his character's name.
It sucks. I think
Hey, Josie Wales, good to see you.
I don't like watching anything based on a true story because somebody took liberties. And I hate that becomes history now. I hate that we lie to ourselves about history. Oh, well, did I learn this in a book or did I see it in the movie? Or anytime they do a movie of, let's say, Lincoln, and they have 50 different portrayals, the one I like most is the fact. Can't live with it. Don't like it. That's all I got to say.